Okay, so today I don't really have a lot to say about Scowler. Scowler is kind of just a mediocre boss in of itself. I mean, we've seen octopi and fish bosses beforehand, and unless you're like, I don't know, Zelda, a horror game, or, you know, really trying to go out of the box, they really just add up to being your typical animal-looking guy, and there's not really any attempt to make it stand out, or make the combat interesting, or anything else that would be a game changer in a design sense. Scowler's combat is a bit more complicated than it need to be, and it's a bit more difficult than it should have been, because you have to start by hitting Scowler on the top of his head, and then you move to the bottom of Scowler and hit him there to actually do the damage. It's not as bad as you think, but the problem is that when you hit Scowler on the head, he starts flying around in diagonal patterns, and I'm sure that at this point, if you actually get into contact with Scowler, who is flying around this erratically, then he just grabs you and throws you out of the boss arena. You have to start the whole thing again. There's a bit of luck to it, there's a bit of skill to it. It's just not really all that much. It's just kind of an annoying idea. It's kinda not good. It's kinda not a good boss fight. The problem is that Scowler is boring. Like, it's an octopus. Yes, it's brightly colored, but that's it. There's no interesting animations. There's no attempt to give this thing a character. You're not even really guarding a decent weapon or power-up, or I think he might have a music box, but I pretty much doubt it. Scowler just seems like one of those bosses that should have been optional, out of the way, and something that would have disappointed to the people who bothered to find it in the first place, not something that's on the main track. But then again, you could easily just say, why is it in the game in the first place if it's not trying to be interesting, outstanding, or anything that a good boss fight should be? Well, unfortunately, it seems like Nintendo Handheld as a developer really didn't handle its boss fights all that well, as we're going to see from the end of the line for this developer working on this series later in the Wario series.